Hello, everyone, and welcome to MeowMix, the Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven.
My name is Jerry.
And we are here to discuss Week 14, previewing the Atlanta Falcons, visiting the Carolina Panthers. The second time we have faced the Falcons this year. We won the first matchup 19-13.
Yeah, it was right? 19-13.
Right. Yeah, 19-13, and now we get them again. I think the first. Well, we'll talk about it here in a minute, but we do want to get to an important podcast specific thing here first. We've not had a chance to get to it. We do have a 5-star review from Apple Podcast listener Brendan from Kirby Acoustics, which I suggest everyone go check out Kirby Acoustics. Just Google it. 5-star review from Apple Podcast. Jerry, do you want to read it?
Sure. Headline, new favorite podcast. I'm 22 years old and a lifelong Panthers fan. This podcast gives me something to look forward to weekly. As not many podcasts talk about my favorite team a lot. I like the interesting takes you two have on the team week to week and the chill vibe from the show. You can definitely see this is something the two of you put a lot of work into. From this Panthers fan, Panther fan, your work is much appreciated. Keep it up, please, and keep pounding. Yeah.
We definitely appreciate that, and that's why we started the podcast. There wasn't a lot to listen to for the Panthers, and what was out there, and some of it still is out there,
we didn't
enjoy.
Yeah.
So you guys probably know some of those podcasts. There's a few really good ones out there, too.
Yes, there is. But, yeah, when we first started this, I think there was, one, maybe two. Mm-hmm. And then that year, everyone joined in. And I was like, oh, okay.
And the Panthers themselves started 8 podcasts. It's a couple weeks after we put out our first one, the Panthers themselves had
their first episode was released. They announced that they had their own 4 or 5 podcasts coming out.
Like Jake Delhomme and legitimate people. And we're like, oh my God, what a time. But you know what? We're doing fine. We've got a nice little listenership here. We appreciate you guys. Definitely appreciate all the back and forth we get on Twitter and YouTube and through email. And definitely anyone that wants to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or subscribe on YouTube, leave comments. We'll talk about them on the show. So we definitely appreciate it.
Yep. Now, let's go ahead and jump into the Panther news. We have a lot to talk about. This is strictly for the podcast listeners. Offensive coordinator Joe Brady was fired. We did a whole YouTube video on it, so go to YouTube and check it out if you haven't. Moving on, cornerback Dante Jackson was placed on IR. We have not talked about that. Right now, I'm not sure that's such a big deal with this group of cornerback rooms.
Yeah, I mean, it's a loss, but the last few weeks, Dante Jackson has not played well. So if, it doesn't sound like Stephon Gilmore is ready to play 100% of the snaps or even more than 50% of the snaps, according to Matt Rule. But he's going to play at least 50, it sounds like, or right around 50. 40 to 50 was what Matt Rule specifically said. So, that's going to be nice when he's out there, but it's a loss for sure. Is it the last time we've seen Dante Jackson in a Panthers uniform? I think so.
I do too. I think with C.J. Henderson, you got J.C. Horn coming back, Keith Taylor's emergence, and then you never know. I mean, they could try to get Stephon Gilmore back. I mean,
if you choose, all right. So let's say you got 3 years. 3 years, money is the same. 3 years, $30 million, something like that, right? Dante or Stephon?
I would go Stephon, but Dante has a longer career, but I think you don't need that here with J.C. Horn and C.J. Henderson. Hopefully, even though C.J. Henderson has not played that well yet.
Right, we're hoping C.J. Henderson hits. But yeah, I'm thinking if I set it at 3 years, I feel better about Stephon. If it's 5 years, 65 or something like that.
And I think you're lowballing both of that with $10 million a year. I think both want about 14, 15.
I know what they're going to want. I don't know that they're going to get it.
We'll see. I think someone's going to overpay for Dante Jackson being young, fast, and having a really good season up until the last 2 weeks that they played. He played.
Yeah, but he put out some really bad tape the last few weeks. I think you're probably right. I mean, high-end corners are hard to come by, and they're expensive. I think Stephon could stay and take a bit of a hometown discount, though.
I do too.
I really do think he could.
The way his wife is always on Twitter talking about Carolina and it's very, I do too.
Yeah, she wants to stay. All right, next little piece of news here, and it's a good one. Wide receiver DJ Moore was nominated as the Panthers representative or the Panthers nominee for the Walter Payton Man of the Year award.
Yeah.
So we do have Thomas Davis, of course, a former winner of that, and Greg Olsen was a finalist a couple of times. So DJ Moore, congratulations on that. And I'm sure we'll all be out there hashtagging for DJ.
Yeah.
It's pretty much how you vote to get him into the final three. And then I don't know how it's chosen in the final three, but
I have no clue.
Yeah. It's usually a Watt usually wins it. So
it's a great award just to be nominated. It means you're really helping out in the community, help volunteering. Yep. So good job, DJ.
It's a great honor. Yep.
They also designated Cam Irving to return from IR. So, yay, we get our starting left tackle back. Shrug.
Yeah. I guess.
Is he better than
we know
others?
Who's not going to be starting at left tackle, Jerry. T-Rex arms, Brady Christensen, according to Matt Rule.
Matt Rule sees him nothing but a guard or center. Because of his short arms. He has the same length arms as Penei Sewell, Rashawn Slater, and other starting left tackles in this league.
Yeah. Rashawn Slater, who's having an awesome year, has transformed that whole offensive line in Los Angeles.
And I think Brady Christensen had one of the best games at left tackle this season for the Panthers.
He was one of the higher graded ones. Yep.
Yeah. I don't understand that thinking.
Stupid. I told you before we started recording that I'm that pushed me closer to your desire to have Matt Rule fired than anything he's done so far. It's just his unwillingness to even try Brady Christensen at left tackle.
And the offensive line has been pure garbage. Pure garbage almost all the season.
It couldn't be worse.
Trent Scott got a 0.0 PFF grade. I mean, at guard. Yet you still want him to start. I don't get why.
You literally can't be worse than 0.0.
Deontay Brown has not hardly played at all. Granted, he's just coming back from IR. But why are you not giving these young guys some chance? You're not supposed to, hold them back, especially when the O-line has been awful. Let them see what they do. Maybe they can learn.
I agree.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's what this is for.
They also activated defensive Darryl Johnson from IR. Okay, that's a nothing. That's just
all right. That's the news.
Guys.
Well, I guess Trent Scott was placed on the COVID reserve list, so he's out at least this week. I don't know if he's vaccinated or not, but if he is, he could be back next week. If not, then it'll be a couple weeks.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get into the injury list here. For the Panthers, it's a short one if you don't count the guys on IR. We just talked about a couple of them. Excuse me. John Miller, Michael Jordan, two starting guards, both did not practice. And then Daquan Jones, defensive tackle, did not practice but listed as not injury related for him. So hopefully it's nothing too bad, personal wise.
No, but the guards are not playing.
Listed as the guards probably not playing, which sucks. Coming off the bye. Michael Jordan's had a pretty good season up until the last couple of weeks. He's been kind of down. John Miller,
a really bad year.
Season. Yeah, and we were excited about him coming back too. But well, for the Falcons, a bit of a longer list here. Not even going to attempt to pronounce this name. Agundeji. I did attempt to pronounce it. I did a poor job. Limited practice. That's their outside linebacker. Fabian Moreau, corner, limited practice. Richie Grant, safety limited practice. Cordero Patterson didn't practice on Wednesday. He's on the report, but it's just veteran rest. Jonathan Bullard, defensive lineman, ankle full practice. And then Lee Smith, tight end, did not practice. Again, veteran rest. Mm-hmm. So fairly healthy coming in.
Well, Hayden Hurst is designated to return. I don't know if he'll be able to play this game. And Calvin Ridley's still out, from my understanding, for non-injury related and
mental.
Even though Calvin Ridley doesn't listen to this, get well, man. Take care of yourself. Yeah. Don't worry about football. Get well. I love seeing you. I think he's a great player. I hate facing him.
I hate facing him. Yeah, I hate facing him. But yeah, I mean, if you all remember the last time the Panthers played the Falcons a few weeks ago, just like an hour before the game or a couple hours before the game, Calvin Ridley basically said, "I'm not going to be playing for a while. Yeah, got to focus on myself." And he has still not come back, and I haven't really heard any updates about him. Not that they would release mental health updates, nor should they. But I wouldn't expect him to come back at all this season. I hope he's getting the help he needs.
He doesn't need to come back. Let's be honest. The Falcons are kind of where the Panthers are, and we're not really
where the Panthers are.
So, look, get your family, your life straightened out. Get yourself good. That's right. Most important thing. And any listeners, do the same thing. If you're ever having, suicidal thoughts or any bad thoughts creeping in, there's treatments out there. Please check out. Sorry, just saying that.
Good job, Jerry. Yeah. All right. Panthers are 2.5-point favorites at this point, which is interesting. I think they opened up 3-point favorites. It is in Atlanta, right?
No, it's here. It's in Bank of America.
It is here because I'm going to the game.
Steven, you are going to the game, dude, and you forgot.
Today has been one of those days, Jerry. One of those days. I got a new job like a month or two ago, and I'm finally out of the. I'm still technically in training, but I'm handling real things, and it's mentally. There's a lot to learn.
Yeah,
there's a lot to learn. So I'm a little out of it, but. Okay, so it is here. I am going to the game, by the way. Jerry, you're probably going to be handling that recap podcast on your own. But matchups, let's talk about them.
Yeah, Atlanta averages only 18 points per game and give up 27.7 points per game. Big difference there. Meanwhile,
the 5-7 somehow.
Yeah, Carolina averages 19.7 points per game, but give up 21.1 points per game. I mean, we know it, and a lot of those points are given up because the defense has been out on the field all the time, or the team just run up the middle on us. So that is really where we've got to focus, is shore up our run defense. The good news is Atlanta sucks at running the ball. They only average 88 yards per game. But the Carolina defense gives up 114. It's been slowly creeping up every week now since teams have kind of figured that out. Hopefully, they could shore it up with Bravion Roy and Derek Brown, because I don't know if Daquan Jones will play. So,
yeah, coming out of the bye week, you're hoping that they had a lot of time to focus on these deficiencies.
Yeah.
Obviously, they focused a lot on the offensive deficiencies, given the roster or the staff changes that they made. Jeff Nixon, by the way, taking over. I want to talk. I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about the offense here in a few minutes, but I want to talk about him a little bit. But yeah, I mean, Atlanta, Cordero Patterson is good, but he's not really like a true running back. He's sort of one of those hybrid running back. He's a great player. He's really effective for them, but he's not like a pure running back. And then Mike Davis is, a C+ most of the time. He was good for us last year, but even when he was really good, he was, a B. He's certainly not a top tier running back.
The only thing I worry about Mike Davis is he can run up the middle on us, and that fears me. Jermaine Carter has to step up and play a better defense than he has been, because he has been struggling. And I could see Mike Davis. I think last game he had a decent game against us. I'm actually pulling it up right now. He had 9 carries, 44 yards. I mean, averaging over 4 yards a carry. I mean, almost. So,
I guess you, yeah. I mean, for him, that's good. I think he's averaging less than 4 yards a carry for the season, so probably one of his better games. By the way, the Falcons' point differential for the season is the fourth worst in the NFL.
oh, I believe that.
They're minus 116. So the only teams worse are the Jaguars, the Jets, and the Texans.
Mm-hmm.
The Lions are better. The Bears are better. The Giants are better. This is not a good team.
No, it's not.
It's not a good team.
No. Quickly going over the teams they beat: the Giants, the Jets, the Dolphins. But that was more at the beginning of the season. I don't know if they would beat the Dolphins now. The Saints and Jacksonville.
Yeah.
So
their wins are by 3 points, 7 points, 2 points, 2 points, 7 points, and then their losses. So they've been blown out a few times.
Yeah.
By 20 or more several times. So
Dallas, New England. I mean,
40 points at Dallas. Yeah. I mean, so it's a little skewed, I guess. They got beat 2 weeks in a row. Basically, they got beat by 65 points, between in 2 weeks. So not great, but they've lost 3 out of 4. They're coming in pretty cold to face the Panthers, who are coming on a bye. I mean, if the Panthers are going to win this game, this is a good opportunity for it.
Yeah, I absolutely
come in rested and with kind of a little bit of hope here with a new offensive coordinator, and
maybe Cam knows the playbook a good bit more. Now that they can open it up a little bit more. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say,
going to move on.
We're struggling today, sir.
I tell you, Jerry, you go.
All right. Before we jump on to the Carolina offense, because I think we both want to talk about the deficiencies and see what we could talk about that. Atlanta's pass game averages only 228 yards per game, even with Matt Ryan. And the Panthers defense, second ranked now that, New England played 3 passes the other week. They now jump Carolina. So take that as you will. But that being said, they don't really have much in the passing game. They have Cordell Patterson coming out of the backfield, and he lines up. You have Pitts is their number one guy, and then Russell Gage, Tajay Sharp. I mean, they should be able to handle that. They handled it last time.
Yeah, I mean, last time we had Gilmore, shadowing Pitts quite a bit without DJ or without Dante. Don't know that we're going to have that luxury. I would imagine, although maybe because Pitts is your main offensive weapon.
Yeah, and you got to think Keith Taylor has really blossomed the past, half of the season so far.
Yeah, and then we still got Bouye. He's going to be out there. So, I mean, I think the Panthers' secondary is still up to snuff enough to stop this offense. Again, God. Who was I just talking about?
The defense is up to snuff
the really good
stop them.
Back.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Drink some coffee, sir.
I'm off today. Yeah.
So let's
Gilmore. Sorry, it was Gilmore. So Gilmore shut down Pitts the last game. By the way, Pitts was coming off some really good games coming into that game. Gilmore absolutely shut him down. He knows how to do it. I would expect the Falcons to try and push it to Pitts, maybe just to show that, hey, Pitts can play against anybody. So I would expect them to go to Pitts more, and I would expect them to have a better game. I still think the Panthers can keep him maybe under 50 yards, under 75 yards, something like that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he was coming off big time games, and I'll go through the last 3 games. 5 targets, 3 receptions, 29 yards. 6 targets, 2 receptions, 26 yards. 7 targets, 4 receptions, 48 yards. So it's not like he's booming now like he was.
Right.
It looks like there's more tape on him. There's more tape on Atlanta. They're understanding what's going on. And we can kind of not shut him down, but, regulate him to a normal type of game instead of those hundreds so yards. Let's hope.
Yeah, he's got the capability, to put up huge numbers, but it seems like you said, there's some tape on him now, and when he's not putting up big numbers, they're not putting up big numbers
No.
in terms of scoring. So he is going to be the key, I think, to shut him down because, like you said, the running, they just don't have much of a run game. Again, Patterson is really good, but he's more of the hybrid. So yeah, it'll be interesting. All right, let's get to the offense. This is going to be fun to talk about. We'll just start with the Carolina run game, right? Averaging 111 yards per game. Atlanta's run defense 119, so not a great run defense. Worse than Carolina's run defense, even.
Yeah.
If you want to compare it. But McCaffrey obviously not involved in this run game, so we're going to be relying on Chuba and Amir and potentially Bonifant or Smith, as playing some spot duty. But it seems like Rule is probably going to lean on, or Jeff Nixon is really going to lean on Chuba and Amir.
Yeah.
Playing that, Chuba the first and second down guy and Amir the third down guy.
And Jeff Nixon being the running backs coach previous to his offensive coordinator, he knows the guys. He knows what Chuba's good at. He knows what Amir's good at. He's going to know what Cam is decent at least handing the ball off, making those decisions. So I'm hoping, and I envision with Joe Brady's let go, that they're going to run the ball a majority more, 55-45, something like that, where it's run heavy.
I think Matt Rule would prefer it to be even more than that, and that worries me a little bit because they are broadcasting what they want to do. Yep. I mean, they are telling everybody in the league, we want to run the ball. So what do you think Atlanta's defense is going to do? Like, they're gearing up all week to stop the run. And I love Cam. He's only been here for 3 weeks. He doesn't have all the pass routes down, even with the bye week. He's still not going to be in full command of the playbook. They're still not going to be calling a lot of different plays. Now, that was one of the big things about Joe Brady. The reason he was fired, I think, he wasn't imaginative. They would be running these same plays over and over and over again. They would have these plays that, the first time you ran it, it went for -2 yards. The next time you run it, it goes for 1 yard.
It's positive. Are you giving up?
Are you tweaking that play? No, you're running it 3, 4, 5 times more, and they're not doing anything. I watched some tape. Some people were putting out on Twitter, basically calling that out specifically. And I was like, yeah, that's what I'm seeing in the games. And I've been talking about it. We've been talking about it for basically the whole season as how boring this offense was to watch. It's just no fun, and they weren't fooling anyone. And now they're going to fool people even less because all they want to do is run the ball.
And you talked about adjustments. You're not playing. You're doing the same play over. Remember Robbie Anderson throwing temper tantrums, and that sounds like he's throwing but he was upset because he saw something. He's telling Joe Brady, hey, we need to run this type of play. We can get them. He doesn't run it. So Jeff Nixon's been an offensive coordinator at Baylor in college ranks. Hopefully he can adjust. Joe Brady was never an offensive coordinator, so maybe he just couldn't adjust. So I don't know. I'm hoping that Jeff Nixon does do a better job of adjusting at halftime, adjusting in-game to situations, who's got a hot hand, what's working, what's not, instead of forcing his play thoughts down on the ground all the time.
Yeah, Jeff Nixon has a lot more coaching experience in the NFL and in college than Joe Brady did. Yeah, Joe Brady, I mean, let's just be honest, too much too soon for him.
Yeah.
He was not prepared. He was not ready. Jeff Nixon, on the other hand, has been offensive assistants and, co-offensive coordinator at Baylor, and he's had a lot of that experience. Like, he's the type of guy, he's got the type of resume that should get him this type of opportunity. So I am excited for him. Now, we have the entire coaching staff basically from Baylor.
Yeah.
We've got now the defensive coordinator, the head coach, and the offensive coordinator, co-offensive coordinator. The other co-offensive coordinators, by the way, is the offensive coordinator at UNLV in college. So take that for what you will. But I went and looked at the 2019 Baylor uh, results because I wanted to see what that offense looked like. And they put up 60 points a few games. In
Yeah.
college, that's not crazy. Often you're playing cupcakes during certain
And you're
parts of the
talking
season.
about the Big 12 that doesn't really play
Hmm.
great defense. It's not against the
Right.
SEC
And the games that they did play against the SEC and higher ranked teams, they did not put up a lot of points. Um, but it was a point. It was an offense that scored more than 30 points a game, and they had some interesting wrinkles. So I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see what they can do. The running game is going to have to be
yeah.
interesting. They're going to have to do some things other than just run the ball up the middle. They're going to have to do some sweeps, some RPO stuff with Cam, some triple reverses. They got to do some fun stuff, some things that it's going to throw Atlanta's defense off and kind of freeze them in place. And because you're not going to be doing a lot of that in the passing game, I don't think.
Yeah. The good thing is Atlanta's pass rush is almost non-existent. They are worst in the league at the pass rush, averaging 1 sack per game, least sacks of any team in the league right now. So with that being said, there is opportunity in the passing game, and it's with two or three offensive linemen being out. Maybe this is the time. This game, let's be honest, we're so down now, but this might be a good time to go ahead and let Cam work a little bit. I agree 100%. Let's run the ball. Let's run the ball. Let's run the ball. Let's throw out some trick plays, but also try to get this offensive line to start working together. I said Deontay Brown. I would like to see him out there. We're going to probably see Brady Christensen at one of the guard spots. Cam Irving will probably play at left tackle. So
For
maybe,
as long as he's healthy.
yeah, 3 plays. So,
Right.
so let's go ahead and try to work some passing into this game. I don't think it's going to be a lot. I agree with you, but I also agree with the statement that everybody in the league knows we want to run the ball. Let's try to trick it up a little bit, do some play action on first down, and try doing some Tommy Trimble, quick outs or hitches. Get 4 or 5 yards. I'm happy. That's a good run play too.
Look, I want to see passing. I don't want to. I don't want a game like the Patriots had the other night where they threw the ball 3 times and they ran it 45. That's not fun to watch. I mean, they got the win, which is really nice, but I want to see explosive plays. I want to see Cam Newton out there running around, handing balls into the stadium. I want to see some fun stuff. So I don't know that Jeff Nixon is going to be the most creative guy. I don't know that he's going to have the leeway, to make those calls. I hope that he does, but I have a feeling that Matt Rule is like, if we don't run this ball 40 times, then I am going to be extremely upset. And I just have a feeling that they're going to be focused so much on running the ball that it's going to be to the detriment of the offense.
I hope you're wrong. I hope
I know that's just what I feel.
I hope he has more faith in Jeff Nixon, since he does know him from Baylor. It seems like him and Brady definitely were not on the same page most of the time. It seems like we've mentioned how Rule would say, "I want to run the ball," and then Joe Brady throws it 50 times, and runs it 17. It's just I am not saying that it'll be completely opposite of that. I'm hoping there's a happy balance. Now, right now, the Panthers pass the ball 57% of the time and run the ball 42. I could see it going not the complete opposite of that. Like I said, 45 to 55 run to pass being run 55. I could see them going for more that type of status.
Yeah. I would be okay with that. Obviously the more running plays you run, you're if you're running the ball 40 times, you're probably winning the game.
True.
You can also win the game passing the ball 40 times. Like we see that every week. So it's not the only way to win. And in fact, it's kind of an old school way of thinking on how to win, but it does work from time to time. Um, but yeah, you mentioned that Matt Rule knew Jeff Nixon from Baylor. I mean, Matt Rule went to high school with Jeff Nixon.
Yeah.
They were on the
Oh
same high
yeah.
school
Sorry.
team. They were in pretty much every step of the way. Where Matt Rule was coaching, Jeff Nixon was there. Now, Jeff Nixon did coach in the NFL quite a bit. It took Matt Rule a while to get up to where he was a head coach. But yeah, I mean, they've been together. They've been roommates. It's honestly surprising that Jeff Nixon wasn't the guy from the beginning.
And who knows?
But you have to feel like Matt Rule was like, well, I can't just transplant my whole Baylor staff to the NFL.
Hey, at least they were going, because look at Brian Kelly. His whole staff said, "Nah, see ya. We'll stay at Notre Dame."
Right. And he basically did bring his whole staff. You just weren't in the same
positions
spots, essentially. But I mean,
Phil Snow worked out.
Phil Snow's worked out great. In hindsight, I wish that he would have done that. Just, that's what you're comfortable with. Just keep working it. And if it doesn't work out, then you make a change. But it's going to be fun in the offseason to see where they go at offensive coordinator. I don't believe that Jeff Nixon is going to be the guy overall. But again, if the Panthers go on a run and the offense looks different and they make good adjustments at halftime,
start putting up like 24 points a game. I mean,
24 points a game would be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, if this offensive line starts actually doing something a little bit better instead of like turnstiling it, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, and we might as well talk about our last matchup here is, essentially Carolina defensive line going, 2.7 sacks a game. Atlanta gives up 2.2 sacks per game. You mentioned that Atlanta is only getting 1 sack per game.
Yeah.
So Carolina's got certainly the matchup on the offense or the defensive line is slated towards Carolina, but offensive line wise versus Atlanta's defensive line, it's probably a wash, which is probably about as good as the Panthers are going to get. It's about as good as the Panthers are going to get the rest of this season. So take advantage of it while you can. Like, honestly, the Panthers have to win this game. We've talked about the last 2 weeks being must wins. This is actually a must win. If they lose this game, they're done.
Yeah, they're technically out of the playoffs. That being said, I mean, do they really have a chance at the playoffs? Yes, I know they're 1 game out, but I mean, if they make the playoffs, unless they start going on a run, they're going to get smacked down by any team they face right now.
Well, that's the thing is, if they do make the playoffs, then it is because they went on a run. And we're all going to be feeling pretty confident heading into the playoffs, facing, a number 3 or 4 seed, could be, who knows? But, if we make the playoffs, then that means that the Panthers have probably gone 4-1 over their last 5 and beating some good teams along the way. So that's what we have to look forward to. Now, if we lose this game, I don't know what we have to look forward to. Like, it's going to be,
it's going to be one of those where you're trying not to cheer for them to lose, but secretly wanting them to lose because
you're secretly then hoping for draft position.
Yeah. Maybe we could draft a left tackle or a quarterback.
I think at that point we're hoping to have a top 10 pick so we can trade back and have a 2nd round pick as well, or maybe a 3rd round pick. So, oh man, I don't know. All right. Well, let's look at, let's see. You got a beer bet of the week? Do we have a beer bet?
No, not really. I couldn't think of anything this week, and I am so confused at what I'm going to see from this team. Just point blank, I do not know what I'm going to see.
Well, how about this? I mean, it sounds like you're a little less bullish, or I don't know what the word is. You think that they might not run as much as I think they're going to run. So you want to set the over-under on runs at 40 rushes?
Oh, yeah, I'll take the under on that.
Okay, I'm going to take the over.
Oh, man, I forgot about Cam. But yeah, go ahead. Split second, but yeah, I'll do that. Because Cam could get you like 5 to 10 carries just secretly.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Cam's going to run it at least 10 times.
so,
But that still leaves 30 carries for Chuba and Amir. That's still a lot. So 40 carries is still a lot. But yeah, I think the Panthers are going to run the ball like 40 times. I honestly think that's going to be their main focus. Win or lose, they're going to run the ball.
I hope they go with the hot hand. If they see something in the passing game that they can exploit, I hope they go for that. But it's
First
just
play
so
of the game,
hard.
run or pass for the Panthers.
Oh, it's gonna
First
be a run.
offensive play of the game.
I would love to see like a little play action. Something.
I would love to see a play action bootleg Cam out and just chunk it down the field. Just chunk it down the field. Get Robbie or DJ 1-on-1 and just throw it down the field. Mm-hmm. And if it's not there, then either Cam run it, 5 or 6 yards out of bounds or pitch it to Chuba or whatever. But I would love to see that play. Just Jeff Nixon drop, just show the balls and do it. I mean, I would love to see it.
Yep. So it's over under 40 rushing?
Over under 40 rushes.
Okay. Maybe I'm feeling a little bit better about that now that I'm thinking about it.
40 if it's 40 exactly, then we'll just share a beer. We'll have a beer with 2 straws and we'll just share it.
I've had a cold lately. You don't want that.
Okay. We'll wait. All right. Bold prediction time.
Go ahead.
I feel like my 40 rushes is kind of a bold prediction, but
yeah, it is.
Yeah, I'm going to say that, within the rushing game, because I do think they'll focus on the rushing game. I believe the Panthers will have a 100-yard rusher, and it's going to be Amir Abdullah.
Oh, okay. That's funny. My bold prediction was Chuba Hubbard, 115 rushing yards.
Okay.
His second rushing.
Mine's way bolder than that.
Yes, because you have Amir Abdullah. So
yes, but yeah. So okay. So we're both on board there. Game prediction. Are we both? I mean, I feel like we have to pick the Panthers to win, right?
I am. I'm doing
because if you don't, then you're basically saying that the season's over.
I am picking the Panthers to win 20-17. The offense shows a little bit of life. And the defense.
I think they show a little more. Yeah, I think they show a little more life. I'm gonna go 27-17. I think they make a good adjustment in the third quarter in this game. I think they score at least a touchdown in the third quarter in this game. Which maybe that should have been my bold prediction.
I was gonna say that should be your bold prediction.
Yeah. Maybe that should have been. But yeah, I think that they score. 2 bold predictions for me in this game. I think they do score in the third quarter, and I think they take control of this game fairly early, and they sort of they ride a strong defense and a competent offense to victory.
Yeah. All right. Quick.
They run the ball 20 times in the fourth quarter. 3 bold predictions.
I would love for us to run the ball that much and get this win.
Yeah.
All right. With that said, the Panthers are sitting at number 2 in the NFC South. We're going to take a quick peek at the other 2 games going on. The New Orleans Saints are visiting the New York Jets. That'll be interesting because the Jets are playing a little bit better and the Saints. Mm-hmm. I mean, the Saints don't have a quarterback. Yeah.
Oh my God, Taysom Hill. Can you believe they signed Taysom Hill to that freaking contract? Did you see that?
Did they extend him?
They signed him to like a 4-year, $94 million contract. Now, he only gets the $94 million if he is like the starting quarterback for a certain amount of snaps or something.
I thought that was signed a year or 2 ago.
No, that was recently.
Oh, okay.
And then otherwise it's like a 40. Otherwise it's still a lot of money for him. But after watching him in that game last week,
he's not a quarterback.
Ooh, God.
He is not a quarterback. He's a gadget guy. He's just not a quarterback. And that's fine. He's a good like H-back tight end type of, gadgety player that you want on your team because obviously the players love him. But you don't give him that money. I think
so. It's 4 years, $40 million with $21 million guaranteed. but with escalators contingent on him being a starting quarterback, could be up to $94 million. So like I would expect he'll probably start the rest of the season just so they see what they have with him. I mean, Sean Payton has been so gung ho about Taysom Hill for so many years now, but I don't know, to be that old and get a contract like that for really, like you said, being a gadget player. I mean, is Taysom Hill? What has he done to deserve that kind of money?
You know what he reminds me of?
Anytime we've played him, he doesn't really do anything.
He's like a Tim Tebow plus, without the fanfare of Tim Tebow coming in. Like, Tim Tebow orchestrated a playoff team in Denver, but that was because of a great defense. And he had some miraculous plays. I think that's what Taysom Hill is, except without the fanfare.
He's just a highlight. You know, he has highlights. He's a good running quarterback. Like, he had some really nice runs.
Yeah.
In that last game. But he's terrible throwing the ball. He's not
Tim
a good
Tebow
quarterback. Yeah. Yeah, I guess. But Tim Tebow at least won. Like, he had a winning record as a quarterback.
Yeah, we're spending like 5 minutes on Saints versus Jets. Meanwhile, the Tampa Bay Bucks are having the Buffalo Bills visit them. 7-5 versus 9-3. Bills could go 7-6. I mean, this could be another loss for them. That's whew.
Yeah, I mean, the Patriots have taken control of that division. I don't think a lot of people had that at the beginning of the year. I think, we all kind of thought Buffalo was going to run that division for a long time, but Allen has not been quite as good this year as he's been in previous years. But this is that the last? That's the last 3 games for the Panthers, right? Do we have the Bills in between?
Yep,
the Bucks.
I believe so. I don't have the schedule in front of us.
I think that's right. So either way, that should be a good game to watch. I mean, that's going to give 3 of our next 5 opponents at least, or 3 of our next 4 opponents after the Falcons are those teams. So
yep,
for good or ill, probably for ill. But any prediction on that one? That should be a good game.
All right, I'm going to predict the Bills win because they're upset about last week. I think they go out fire burning. And Tampa Bay has not looked as good as advertised.
They don't look unstoppable.
Yeah. With that being said, I'm also picking the Bills just because I want them to win.
Yeah, we don't want the Bucs to win.
No.
There's still an outside chance the Panthers could win the division.
Sure.
If we beat the Bucs twice and the Bills beat the Bucs, like
if the Bucs lose out and the Panthers win out, yes.
I think it's not even that bad, is it? How many wins do the Bucs have? Are they at 8 or
9? 9.
Okay. All right. So yeah. Probably not going to do that. But it is mathematically possible. It's within the realm of possibility. So all right, Jerry, let's wrap this up.
All right, we want to thank everyone for listening. If you like the show, please let your friends know. Please follow us on Twitter at MeowMix Podcast. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at mailbag@meowmixpodcast.com. And if you leave us a 5-star review with a comment on Apple Podcasts, we'll read it on our show. Please like and subscribe on YouTube.
Jerry will be back on Sunday afternoon. I might join. We'll see. We'll see what the game looks like.
Yeah, and if you don't, maybe my wife will join me. She was upset that I didn't invite her last time I did it by myself, so. She watches the game. My wife, Sylvia.
Oh. Yeah. Sorry, you cut out there a little bit. I thought you were talking about Evelyn. Yeah. Whatever you want to do. I'm actually, yeah. I mean, we'll talk logistics after the show, but it'll probably be you. So, okay. So until then, everybody stay safe out there and keep pounding.